A special service in Del Mar helps everyone enjoy the ocean.
I went to bed one night and I woke up and I was paralyzed.
You gave her a huge gift.
And in La Jolla, lifeguards race to find a missing diver who is running out of both time and oxygen.
You can get how much air is left.
Copy that. Medics to the boat launch at La Jolla shore.
Able, if you can vector in the rescue boat on top of the bubbles.
We initiated a San Diego Lifeguards dive rescue team response.
Then, in San Diego, an intense heat wave leaves one beachgoer in bad shape.
She was unconscious, unresponsive to pain, unresponsive to verbal commands.
Watch out. We never had a situation like that.
What was really alarming was the way that she was arching her back.
At the northern boundary of San Diego sits the popular coastal community known as La Jolla. A network of idyllic beach areas, La Jolla's features include La Jolla Shores, the Children's Pool, and the tranquil waters of La Jolla Cove. A hot spot for swimming, snorkeling, and scuba diving. Overseeing the Cove today is lifeguard Lisa Darling.
I'm a permanent lifeguard for the city of San Diego. I have been working at this beach for the past 13 years. I'm in charge of the seasonal staff here to make sure the beach runs well. And it's not every day that you're able to make a difference in somebody's life. And this job, I know I do, and I know the decisions I make are important, and I do like knowing that I have made a difference in people's lives.
Today's air temperature is in the high 80s, but the water temperature is unseasonably cool.
We had a little bit of a north swell and a lot of wind coming in, and so that can cause an upwelling. So the water that's on the bottom is colder, so that comes up to the surface and brings up the colder water. Sometimes when the water is cold, we look for cases of hypothermia, and we look for people that look exhausted or are pale, and that's just something we deal with when water temperature drops and gets colder.
Darling and lifeguard Joe Davalos are watching the Cove when Lisa notices a diver in trouble.
He was having difficulty even submerging in the water. He was getting close to the rocks. He looked uncomfortable, and then with divers, their equipment won't be on correctly, so they just seem uncomfortable. There's a lot of signs that things weren't going well.
We had seen these people go out 30 minutes earlier. We were watching them and we were kind of wondering what was going on, because they had been staying on top of the water the whole time. It was unusual for divers to do that. I asked, can he kick? And he wasn't helping at all, just a floating buoy.
When we got to the diver, he was beginning to go into shock. He was exhausted. He couldn't even talk or answer questions. And so we really wanted to get him sitting down and get his wetsuit off and really be able to talk to him and see exactly what was going on. All right, any medical issues we should know about?
No.
That's 100% pure oxygen. You can breathe as much as you want. Joe, I need a dive profile.
How long were you down?
Maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes max. And what you need to do right now is you just need to relax. You feel any better than you did 10 minutes? It's feeling better, feeling stronger once we got the O2 on him.
With the victim stabilized and showing no signs of hypothermia, the lifeguards turn his care over to the paramedics.
One of the reasons that I like this job is it's very dynamic. It's not just water rescues, it's medical aids, it's cliff rescues, it's scuba diver rescues, and I do get just as much satisfaction from this type of rescue.
The rescue of the exhausted diver was supervised by Sergeant James Garland, who's been with the San Diego Lifeguards for 17 years.
I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in Long Branch, New Jersey, down on the Jersey Shore, and I came through a long line of cooks and chefs or restaurant workers, and then there was another side of the family that were accountants.
What's up, buddy?
How are ya?
Did you get some good ones out there?
Yeah, did you?
It was okay. It's a little high tide. I'll see you later.
I found myself quitting and leaving good accounting jobs to come back to the beach every summer, so I figured I might as well just stay with the job that I like.
Hot, sunny summer day like this where it's real hot inland, it's even hot at the beach, and we have a pushing swell. These are all the factors that cause us to be extremely busy.
Dispatch La Jolla Shores for a possible diver emergency. About half a mile offshore, there's 3 divers next to a kayaker. Kayaker says that one of the divers is not up yet, and the 3 divers are worried and concerned.
My first response as soon as I heard that was I knew we were going to be launching Jet 3, so I grabbed the radio bag, put it on, grabbed my fins. We launched the ski.
As Hodel hurries toward the divers in the cove, over at the children's pool, Lifeguard Sergeant James Gartland takes over as incident commander.
And 3 Sam copies a separated diver call. I'll start to the cove.
I acknowledged the call. We requested some resources, a surf boat, a PWC, and requested a dive profile.
A separated diver means that someone has been divided from their group. If lifeguards are unable to quickly locate the person, this call will be upgraded to a missing diver. After that, it becomes the dreaded Code X, a drowned victim.
Copy. We just want to determine whether or not this is a missing diver or a separated diver.
Affirmative. I'm gathering more as we speak.
31 Sam responding to shores from Torrey Pines.
My crew and I spotted the divers way on the outside. They were waving their buoys.
Jet 3 on scene, gathering information.
I just asked them, basically we wanted to get a dive profile. We wanted to figure out what had happened, whether there'd been a struggle, how far down they had dove, how long they'd been at the bottom.
The remaining divers are shaken by their friend's sudden disappearance.
We decided as a group to swim out toward the canyon, which is about a half-mile offshore. 5-10 minutes into the dive when we noticed the other dive buddy came back toward us and, hey, where's your buddy? Where's your buddy? Worst case scenario thing comes to mind. Maybe something happened. Maybe he's stuck in kelp. Maybe his gear had a catastrophic malfunction.
The missing diver had last been seen exploring the underwater trenches of La Jolla Ecological Reserve, a popular location for scuba divers.
You know, you're dropping in literally to the depths of the Grand Canyon with just a short 10-minute kick off the beach. They're probably right next to a ledge that potentially dropped down to 350 feet.
Copy that. If you can get how much air is left and just ascertain if there's any witnessed emergency or this is simply a separated diver at this time.
Jet 3 dispatch. Sounds like a missing diver. There's a 90-foot dive. They came to the surface approximately 25 minutes ago.
I got an initial dive profile. They said 95 to 108 feet and a rapid ascent. So that, to me, that means it's going to be a dive team call. It's going to be a legitimate missing diver call, not a separated diver. And it bumps it up a little bit more.
As the search for the missing diver escalates, 6 miles south in Mission Beach, the hot sun has brought out an enormous weekend crowd. And Lifeguard Sergeant Rick Strobel is on duty.
Busy weekend down here at Mission Beach. Probably close to 30,000 people visiting our area of the beach today, and with that comes a lot of different types of calls.
Lifeguards have received a call that a young woman is having a seizure on a crowded beach.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just collapsed. And then he was trying to pick her up, and she wouldn't stand up.
And she was just limp. And then he laid her down, and she was just like kind of arched and wasn't moving at all.
Pulse is 100. We responded to the scene and we found this young female, about 25 years old, laying on the sand.
She was unconscious, unresponsive to pain, unresponsive to verbal commands.
Lifeguard's first response is to maintain an airway so an unconscious victim can breathe.
We did insert a nasal pharyngeal airway. People don't like that. And if they have any type of consciousness whatsoever, they're going to fight and not allow that to be inserted.
Can you give us some history on her?
She's my girlfriend.
Okay.
She's been my girlfriend for 3 years.
And does she have a history of these seizures?
No, she does not.
You've never had one before?
No, never.
When did this happen?
This happened about 5-10 minutes ago.
No one around her knew any past history of seizures. We never had a situation like that.
Can you hear me?
With sunny skies and high temperatures on the beach, the woman's seizures could be a sign of extreme dehydration or heat stroke.
What's your pulse right there?
100.
100.
Well,
What was the last
3.
Hold on. Watch him 3 go.
Check her pupils.
Yeah.
They're fine?
They're blown.
She had a very strong pulse, had normal vital signs for the most part, so it was a little, interesting to us.
You guys can follow or somebody can come with you. All right, hold on.
Where are you guys taking her?
The yacht.
The lifeguards need to quickly get her out of the sun and to the paramedics.
Watch out. Girl never had a history of seizure and was seizing on the beach. Boyfriend doesn't know anything about it, no history of anything. Blood pressure was 180 over 140.
What was really alarming was the way that she was presenting and arching her back, which can lead you to believe that there can be some serious underlying medical issues there.
With the victim still seizing, paramedics must get the girl to the hospital as soon as possible.
We responded the way we're trained. We are trained EMTs, so in case something like that happens on the beach, we're right there and they're going to get immediate care.
The cause of the woman's seizures remains a mystery, but she is quickly transported to the local hospital where she'll receive further care. 6 miles back up the coast in La Jolla, the lifeguards continue their search for a missing diver. The man was last seen by his dive partners near a vast underwater canyon, 95 feet below the surface. Jet 3 is already on scene, while additional units are responding from surrounding areas.
If you can get how much air is left and just ascertain if there's any witnessed emergency or this is simply a separated diver at this time.
Jet 3 dispatch. Sounds like a missing diver.
The search is being coordinated from La Jolla Cove by Lifeguard Sergeant James Gartland.
We are mobilizing dive team members at this time. 31 Sam, we're stepping this up to a missing diver.
We initiated a San Diego Lifeguard dive rescue team response. All the lifeguards that are on that team at different beaches assemble their gear and come to the scene and start a coordinated dive. It's pretty impressive. It happens really quick.
Hey, Lifeguard dispatch, can you get a fireboat crew ready?
In Mission Bay,
You guys ready? Got everything? We're launching.
the first dive crew is assembled on the docks and begins heading toward La Jolla. It will be their job to sweep the ocean floor and find the diver before it's too late.
31 Sam to shores. If we can get the second ski launched with the crew and bail out.
A second personal watercraft joins the search party, while medics mobilize in preparation for a possible drowning.
31 Sam on D2, and we'll be responding to the boat launch.
Copy that. Medics to the boat launch at La Jolla Shores.
Luckily for us, PD was monitoring the air and Able was in the area, which is their helicopter. They came up on the air and offered some assistance.
Able to just try to keep our eyes off that general area.
So we're taking it as a serious emergency, as a full-fledged missing diver at this point. Right now, at this point, we're just the rescue operation staged out of the cove, but if they should find somebody that's having a medical emergency, a diver, they'll be brought here.
PD helicopter was checking the surface for bubbles. The boats were checking the surface for bubbles. My land units, tower at the shores, the tower at the cove, they're checking the area for divers popping up, people waving their hands. We have the dive team mustering their crew and getting ready to head this way. The people on the PWC get a best last seen location and depth, and we drop a buoy there. That starts our search.
The search must move quickly. The diver could have suffered a medical issue, an equipment malfunction, or been entangled in kelp. By now, he's running out of air. The highly trained dive team is on scene and preparing to enter the water. Rescue Boat West starts patrolling the shoreline.
Rescue West, we got a solo diver that just popped up between the A buoy and Point La Jolla. We're going to send a guard out from the cove.
Solo diver.
Yeah.
Where's Jet 3 out?
Copy. Continue.
The sighting is only 100 yards offshore. Lifeguard Dustin Fierro grabs his rescue board and charges out to sea.
And he just submerged again. He's on the surface. We got a guard from the cove and Rescue West heading that way.
The police helicopter spots the diver's bubbles and begins directing the rescue effort. If the diver is injured or trapped below the surface, every second counts.
Able, if you can vector in the rescue boat on top of the bubbles. Okay, for the boat, head to east, and for the paddleboard, just keep paddling straight, maybe 100 feet. Paddleboard's probably going to make it there first.
And just before I got there, he submerged, probably about roughly 20 feet.
So we lost visual contact with the diver again.
Spotting the silhouette of the diver, deckhand Rick Snell plunges into the water.
Rescue West, all responding units, we're clear. We have the missing diver right at the vessel off the cove.
The guy that popped up was the guy that they got separated from.
Yeah, we're clear, thanks.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
4 Delta, Rescue 3, copy.
The diver is confused and embarrassed, but otherwise fine. Abandoning the buddy system to explore the reef on his own, he's been unaware of the manhunt he's launched.
He said his name and he said, "Oh no, is this all for me?"
Because he looked up, saw the rescue boat, saw the helicopter, he saw the guy on the board. So he saw all the resources in the area and realized we were actively looking for him.
By the time it was called clear, we had a helicopter on scene, a 22-foot lifeguard rescue boat with 2 people. We had 2 jet skis on scene, and we had lifeguards responding from the cove on paddleboards. We also had the fire engine on scene. We had the medics on scene and myself on scene, staged for the medical end should there have been a true dive accident. We had dive team members responding. By the time it was called off, over a half dozen had reported in that they were assembling their gear.
Dispatch copies, all clear at 1600 hours.
It's a good drill. It's like real life, real time, gets us all together, and this time it worked like clockwork, and we found the guy. I mean, his buddies would probably still be looking for him. They'd be calling his wife. She'd be driving down here freaking out.
The saying goes, plan the dive and dive the plan. So you always follow the procedures and that you set with your buddies. It's extremely important so things like this don't ever happen.
Turned out as good as these calls turn out. When that person comes to the surface or we find them and they're still living with a heartbeat and breathing and they get to go home that day, that's a good day for everybody.
It's a beautiful sunny day on the beaches of Del Mar, and hundreds of families have come out to enjoy the sand and surf. Families just like the Macarolis.
We enjoy the beautiful weather, having fun out in the sun. We love to surf and just families here, so we came.
But the Macarolis came to Del Mar for one other very important reason. A 12-year-old boy named Michael.
My son actually has cerebral palsy and we need to use their wheelchair. The lifeguards are so wonderful. I feel really safe. They help us with him and it's the perfect location for us.
The Del Mar fleet of land and sea wheelchairs are free for anyone to use. Lifeguard John Edelbrock says it all started with someone just like Michael.
Back in the mid to late 90s, a woman out in Rancho Santa Fe had lost leg function and still wanted to get down to the beach.
So the woman did some research and discovered these amphibian chairs, complete with giant PVC wheels that can roll on sand and float in the water. She purchased a few chairs and made a donation that changed lives.
Soon thereafter, we started seeing more and more people, coming down to use them, started getting phone calls, and the demand increased significantly. And we got more and more donations, and now we have a fleet of 6 of them. We have them at 3 of our towers and make them accessible to anybody that requires them to enjoy the ocean and the sand.
For lifeguard Ariel Crocker, the wheelchairs mean a freedom some beachgoers may have thought impossible.
It's really nice because people who thought that they couldn't enjoy the beach like they used to prior an injury or a disability, they get to come and enjoy the beach and actually get onto the sand, get their toes wet.
And that's something Michael seems to have no problem doing today.
I was just hitting waves and it hurt, but I went through it. It was fun.
As Michael finishes up his day of fun in the sun, another family begins to enjoy all that Del Mar has to offer. For Christina, today is something of an anniversary.
I haven't been in the water in like 2 years. I went to bed one night and I woke up and I was paralyzed and I couldn't move or feel anything.
It's called transverse myelitis, and it happens to 1 in 100,000 people.
Thanks to the Del Mar Lifeguards and their chairs, Christina's condition isn't stopping her from having the time of her life, something her mom, Veronica, appreciates all too well.
To be able to find these, we were really lucky. It's a blessing. When we tried to bring her to the beach, we could get only as far as the sand. This is the first year she got to touch the water again, so it was nice.
For the lifeguards that patrol Del Mar, Christina's mom has these words.
Thank you very much. You gave her a huge gift this weekend. It was a beautiful gift for her. It's a blessing.
It's so much fun.